You're such a Grinch. Me, only me. You can't have any. You're like a child in a playground.
Are you all right, Tessa?
No, I'm not all right. I'm really upset, actually, by this. Only me, only I matter. Me and my little England. Brick out the rest of the world. Who do we think we are?
And hello everybody, welcome back to British Stand. Another day and another woke liberal meltdown on live television. Now, again, I love to share these for my personal entertainment because they speak absolutely clueless, and of course I can bring awareness to just how these people actually think and how they react when you disagree with their opinion and what they want to try and spread. They really can't handle a debate, and again, I always bring up many times where I've had conversations, whether that be in pubs, whether that just be out and about with people on that left-hand side. I can listen to their conversations, I can listen to their points, I don't necessarily have to agree with their points, but when I say certain things, they go into a meltdown. They react so emotionally, and it's always really satisfying to watch that they just can't take other people's opinions. And these people that get brought onto TV have the exact same mindset. They're all the same. They can't handle other people's opinions, they can't handle other people's point of view, and have to lash out and act all emotional and just make an absolute arse of themselves on live television. Now, in today's one, we've got, of course, I think a guy is saying that he's proud to be an English citizen, not a global citizen, and yeah, this lady doesn't like it on plenty of subjects of mass migration, and of course, with regard to foreign aid and where our money is being spent as a country where people like veterans can't even get houses and stuff like that. So yeah, let's have a watch of this. Let's see this lady's point of view. As always, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and get your thoughts down there in the comment section below. Have a watch of this one.
Tessa, is he right?
Stephen, I wonder, do you consider yourself just a citizen of Suffolk, or are you an English citizen, a British citizen, a global citizen? Where does accountability stop? After all, we were the first country to industrialise, therefore our impact on the climate proportional per head is, I think, something like 160 times higher than the average Ethiopians. Likewise, we had a thumping great empire which impacted on many poorer countries' ability,
around the globe,
which impacted on many countries' ability to govern themselves. Leadership has taken much longer. They weren't released from the...
That guy just made a great point. You know, the British Empire gets so demonized on what it was all about, but it did spread wealth around the globe, and a lot of what we start to see in this first world, in this first world, is mainly, well, the way that we live our lives is due to the British Empire. So yeah, I mean, it's always demonized, but people don't like to look at the facts on why it was so magnificent.
Yoke of Britishness until in many cases after the Second World War. So where do we say we're washing our hands with you? And do you think in the long term that's going to deliver for us as a global player out with the EU?
By the way, okay, it's as simple as that. Our money should stay in this country. It shouldn't go to foreign countries. Simple. Let them sort themselves out. We have a debt in this country, as simple as that.
Well, but the question that Tessa asked, Stephen, the question that Tessa asked you that I thought was interesting. Stephen, give me a chance, my darling. Tessa asked you an interesting question. She said, do you see yourself as a citizen of Suffolk or Great Britain or the world? How do you see yourself? What was the answer to that?
I see myself as English, and I see myself as this country. I don't see myself as a world country, yeah, and I don't care about all this giving money to foreigners.
All right, thank you for the call, and we appreciate it. That was an honest answer to your question.
Let's talk here. Springing out from her mellifluous voice is the milk of human kindness.
Yes, but how much kindness is shown to this country? For instance, there are 5 or 6 countries in the world which are better off than we are. Why don't America send us money? Why don't China send us money? Why isn't India now sending us money instead of us sending money to India?
You're such a Grinch. Me, only me. You can't have any. You're like a child in a playground.
Are you all right, Tessa?
No, I'm not all right. I'm really upset, actually, by this. Only me, only I matter. Me and my little England. Brick out the rest of the world. Who do we think we are?
It was a serious question. We don't get money from countries richer than us, but we are still giving money to countries poorer than us. And the old argument about, oh, well, if you give money to other countries, it helps their citizens to stay there and not come to this country. Utter nonsense.
I'm wondering whether what might make much more sense than any of this is if we, the voters, had a say in the spending of foreign aid. Yeah. If we could say what we prioritise and what we value, rather than this feeling that money that we need and could do with, is being
Or
kind
we
of
could just
distributed,
say,
and we don't quite know why or what to.
Or we could just say we don't want to, because on top of the foreign aid budget, we send farmers around the world another £506 million whilst we're punishing farmers in this country.
Right,
That's an outrage.
let's go to
Actually, what's imperiled is a massive child vaccination scheme which has
That could be
saved the
protected.
lives of
That could be
1.1
protected.
billion children.
Everybody agrees that that's a very worthy cause.
Absolutely.
And on Vanessa's theory, examine that and say yes, but examine some of the others and say no. It's as simple as that.
Let's bring
But there is generally accountability. For example, this vaccination.
A very, very good point. Now, that's a very, very good point. That's a man that can listen to opinion and, of course, take the good and bad from all arguments and come up with a solution and a conclusion. But these lefties is like, oh, well, we can't do this. We just brought up one point, one valid point, which foreign aid is good for. But the remainder of it, they can't see through their, tunnel vision that all of the rest of it is a detriment towards the United Kingdom and, of course, is using our money to fund things that we don't need to pay for, whilst we've got people in our country that are British citizens that, of course, can't even afford to put food on the table. And as I mentioned earlier, veterans that are homeless and sleeping on the streets.
Scheme is done in cahoots with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation,
And we're all
etc.
supporting that. We're all supporting
I
that.
know, but I think the worry is that there's sort of random spurious headlines where a right-wing paper, I'm going to name the Telegraph in this instance, discovers that, a little bit of the money, a tiny drop of the money went on a cycle scheme in somewhere like Malaysia. And that is enough to trigger this disproportionate response.
Because that's true, and there's a lot of other foreign aid that's not being used correctly and definitely needs to be revisited.
If it is disproportionate, if you're really struggling financially in this country, if you can't get an appointment to see your GP, if you're on an NHS waiting list and you're literally in pain every single day, and then you read that money has been wasted on a cycling scheme in Malaysia, even if it's hypothetical, then it doesn't feel as if it's a tiny drop of wasted money. It feels like a personal affront to you, your family, your life, and you just think, hang on, wait, did I ever sign up to this? Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a subject that really does
And
get
also,
people
should we only send money to countries where we know there is a stable political framework? Because often they go to countries which are ruled by dictatorships.
So there you go. The guy is absolutely correct. And to be fair, the caller there, again, it should be proud to be a British citizen and should be proud to be an English citizen, shouldn't be demonised for it, as they do on the left. But the guy on the right there, as always, making a lot of sense, can understand and take points from people's opinions and people's debates. But the people on the left are just so tunnel-visioned into their narrative and trying to brainwash and can't see any other sense. So if you're talking about foreign aid in mass migration or anything like this, they're like, well, what about this? What about this point? And we're going, oh, that point is okay. That point is valid, darling. Calm down. But then they think it's a whole painting brush of the thing. But there's certainly one thing that stands for true is that the foreign aid budget definitely needs to be looked at, and we are sending billions of our taxpayers' money on things that we shouldn't be spending money on. Guys, as always, do let me know your thoughts on that down there in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.